Good afternoon, friends. My name is Ravi Singh, and I am going to speak on the topic India's current policy of multi-alignment. So once Winston Churchill, he said that to improve is to change, but to be perfect is to change often. And same goes for India's current foreign policy. Because since its independence, India had been following the policy of non-alignment movement. And when we talk about the non-alignment movement, it was a grouping of about 120 nations which were formally not aligned with or not against any superpower bloc at that time. And this non-alignment movement, it was the brainchild of India's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. And it was started in the year 1955 after the Bandung Conference. And when we talk about most of the countries which were part of it, so these were the countries which were recently decolonized, and they came from the continent of Asia and Africa. But the whole world saw a shift in India's foreign policy after the year 2014, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he did not attend any meeting or conference after he assumed the office of Prime Minister of India. And recently, the India's current external affairs minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, he also criticized the concept of the non-alignment in his book called the India Way. And according to many experts, for the past few years, India has been following a new policy called the policy of multi-alignment. And under this policy, India has been trying to get aligned with almost every major grouping in the whole world. For example, currently India is attending the SCO summit at Samarkand after it attended the BRICS summit recently. But at the same time, India is also participating actively in the groups like Quad and the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. And when we look at the results, in the past few years, this policy has served India quite well, because in the past few years, India has been able to sign the free trade agreements with the countries like Australia and UAE. At the same time, it is also getting the liberty to pull out of the groupings like the RCEP and IPEF, just because they were not serving India's economic interest well. But again, since every coin has two sides, so this policy also has certain disadvantages. And one of the most severe disadvantages of the multi-alignment is that India has no longer the influence over the adverse policy of its friendly countries. For example, the Russia, it is getting closer to the countries like China and Pakistan day by day. At the same time, USA also giving military aid to Pakistan of worth 450 billion for their F-16 upgradation. But all in all, if we look at the results and the favor which this policy has done on India, then it is quite well. And because it gives India the liberty to do whatever is in its best interest. Whether it is buying the cheap Russian oil during the sanctions and the Russia-Ukraine war, or buying the advanced jets and drones from the countries like USA and several other Western countries. Thank you.